President Kenyatta, honorable colleagues, I am pleased to join this critical debate on the role of intermediate cities in the implementation of our respective climate agendas. Colleagues, there is little doubt that it will be the cities where most of our climate challenges will play out and where they ultimately will be won or lost. Perhaps most especially in Africa. With the world's population expected to increase to 9.7 billion people by 2050, Africa will host more than half of that growth. Urban populations are expected to nearly triple to more than 1.3 billion, with many below the age of 35. Demographics like these can often influence how vulnerable cities are in the face of natural disasters, vulnerabilities that will be significantly impacted by climate change. Indeed, many African cities have already been at the epicenter of loss and damages caused by climate risks. Given our current climate trajectory, their frequency and severity will undoubtedly increase. But demographics do not dictate destiny. As the most rapidly urbanizing region in the world, Africa presents a unique opportunity to urbanize right. In other words, an opportunity to move towards what their vision of a green, sustainable, resilient, and prosperous city should be. But let's be clear, there can be no single vision for any one city. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. We may share ideas, which is, of course, why we are here. But what works in Montreal does not always work in Marrakesh. And certainly, when it comes to sharing, I urge cities to join the hundreds that have already publicly committed to climate action through the Race to Zero and Race to Resilience campaigns. It offers a unique opportunity to showcase local climate actions and brings together those who share our collective vision for a healthy planet. The singular vision that unites us is to limit global temperature rise by 1.5 degrees by the end of this century. Cities may find their own unique solutions to get there, but the point is to get there. Nations now have what they need to implement the Paris Agreement after Glasgow. This work must be done. It is critical that those who have not yet submitted new or updated nationally determined contributions do so before the next COP. NDC updates are now required annually. In a similar vein, we encourage all nations to immediately develop and implement ambitious national adaptation plans. To that end, it is therefore of the highest importance that developed countries stand by their promise to double finance for adaptation from 2019 levels by 2025, as expressed in the Glasgow Climate Pact. It's also vital that access to this finance, including to international funding mechanisms, is simplified. Here again, we point to the several decisions at COP26 calling on international funding institutions and multilateral development banks to enhance the mobilization of financial support to developing countries and economies in transition, as well as to increase its scale and effectiveness. Regarding outstanding pledges, developed countries themselves have acknowledged their failure to meet their long-standing commitment to mobilize $100 billion annually for climate action in developing nations. This is a central element to build trust in multilateralism, in our collective efforts to address climate change, and for future climate action. We cannot expect to maintain trust in future commitments if current ones have yet to be met. Colleagues, with COP27 fast approaching, parties need to act now. Despite this being a year of significant challenges throughout the world, including the war in Ukraine, and following nearly 3 years of dealing with a global pandemic, we cannot forget that climate change is a global emergency that rises above all others. It is our existential crisis. We cannot afford any delay in acting upon it. We particularly need progress in the remaining 8 months of this year in very significant issues related to finance, mitigation, adaptation, and loss and damage. If we are to address climate change and build stronger cities in Africa and throughout the world, we must do the work necessary to achieve success at COP27. I look forward to working with all of you to achieve that success, build stronger, greener, and more resilient cities in Africa, and to ensure a just and prosperous future for all people. Thank you.